Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. Each episode we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we are taking a look at a forgotten animated feature as we take a look at Thumbelina. And if you are enjoying these videos, please do hit that subscribe button. That way you will be notified with each new video. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we are covering Thumbelina. This movie was released on March 30th, 1994, and it was directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. It is based on Thumbelina by Hans Christian Andersen, and the production company was Don Bluth Ireland Limited, with the movie being distributed by Warner Brothers. The budget for this movie was $28 million, but it unfortunately only did a box office return of $17 million. To be fair, this movie was only released in the United States theatrically and then eventually on home video internationally, so it only did a box office return with US markets. So let's take a look at the production history. So Thumbelina was in production from February 1991 to May of 1993 by Don Bluth and his studio Don Bluth Ireland Limited, formerly known as Don Sullivan Bluth Studios in Dublin, Ireland. Vocal recordings and animation did not begin, though, until early of 1992, so this was in development for a long time. Don Bluth Entertainment would file for bankruptcy during production, so filmmaker John Boorman and Hong Kong media-based production company Media Assets would put up the rest of the money for them. It was originally scheduled to be distributed by MGM Studios in the United States and J&M Entertainment overseas with a Thanksgiving in 1993, but both MGM and J&M Entertainment dropped the arrangement after the bankruptcy of Don Bluth Studios. During the bankruptcy proceedings, the trustee presented the film to Disney's Buena Vista Film Distribution as a possible distributor, but the trustee would decline Disney's offer to distribute the film as they were trying to find a new owner for Don Bluth Studios, not just a distributor. Warner Brothers would eventually buy the distribution rights on March 15th, 1993, with the film being released a full year later on March 30th, 1994. This movie also had the added attraction of being presented with a new Animaniacs short called I'm Mad, shown before the film. The music of the film was presented by Barry Manilow, who actually agreed to compose the songs for 3 different Don Bluth pictures. The first was Thumbelina, the second was The Pebble and the Penguin, and the third was supposed to be a Rapunzel story, done also by Don Bluth, but that was canceled due to poor performance of the previous 2 movies. The film was released on a soundtrack, but it was only a limited print, and as of this moment is now out of print and not even available on iTunes. Mary the Mole, one of the songs featured in the movie, would actually go on to win a Razzie Award for Worst Original Song. So let's take a look at the cast. So we have Jodie Benson, who provides the voice of Thumbelina, Gary Imhoff, who provides the voice of Prince Cornelius, Joe Lynch, who provides Gradual Toad, Gino Conforti, who provides the voice of Giacomo, Gilbert Godfrey provides the voice of Berkeley Beetle, Carol Channing provides the voice of Mrs. Fieldmouse, John Hurt provides the voice of Mr. Mole, Barbara Cook as Thumbelina's mom, Charo, who provides the voice of Mrs. Toad, Kenneth Mars is King Colbert, and finally June Foray as Queen Tabitha. So in terms of the plot of this movie, this one is adapted, like I said, from Hans Christian Andersen's timeless fable about the beautiful thumb-side girl, Thumbelina, who spends her childhood in solitude and isolation, unable to find a friend who's her size. Thirsting for love and friendship, a chance encounter with the fairy prince Cornelius will pave the way for a sweet romance. However, the mean toad Girdle abducts Thumbelina, bent on marrying her himself. In a perilous world much bigger than themselves, will the 2 young lovers reunite? So, in terms of trivia, this was interesting because when they were doing test screenings for this movie, producers actually put the Walt Disney logo in front of the movie, and they found that the test screenings actually were a lot more positive than without the Walt Disney logo. The other thing is the DVD that I watched has no extra special features except for two TV spots as kind of like theatrical trailers. And these are actually very telling about how the Warner Brothers felt about this movie, as they had no idea how to market this film, or it looks like they had no confidence in it, as they only talk about Thumbelina the character and not the story at all. And the clips from the TV spots only show the first 5 minutes of the film. Nothing, or not a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but usually after the first fairy sequence with Cornelius, nothing after that point is shown in the TV trailers. So, kind of interesting how what they thought of this movie. So, in terms of what I recommend this film, I find this film very, very disappointing. There's a lot of the right elements here, but they just don't gel together to make a very cohesive film. You have Jodie Benson, who had coming off playing Ariel, and she has such an amazing singing voice and the ability to create a warm, sympathetic character, like she's been playing Ariel for like 30 years. But with Thumbelina, it just does not come together. The character is not very sympathetic, and it's not very engaging. And part of that is the script. I'm sure of it. The story just seems to fall apart after the song between Thumbelina and Prince Cornelius. After that, it just goes through scene after scene with no connective tissues. And then you can kind of get the sense that they were feeling this because towards the end, they're like, oh, the Toad, we'll bring him back as the main villain. But again, it was too little too late at that point. The other thing is, I think they're trying to tell the story that everyone falls in love with Thumbelina based on her singing voice, which is a great story. But the problem is that Thumbelina doesn't sing this that often in the movie, so like it doesn't really come off that way, and you just have all these characters falling in love with her for no reason, and it just. From what I understand, a lot of this is in the Hans Christian tale, but it just in terms of an animated movie, it doesn't come off with like that. The other disappointing aspect of the movie is the songs. None of them are really, really very memorable or offer any type of character development. It was explained to me from listening to podcast interviews that Charo, for the Mr. Toad song, where they're trying to convince Thumbelina to be a star, that was a lot of Charo's gig, and like was like her kind of main stick of what she did as an act, but it didn't really translate to the animated film. It just came off as weird and like not very, in terms of like out of place for the movie. In terms of positives, there is some. The character designs are very well done. Thumbelina looks really really well designed as a character. The characters are all very unique in terms of their design. Unfortunately, it falls really short after that. So really disappointed with this movie. Just I remember as a child thinking it was really great, and then rewatching it, I'm just like, it's not that great. So yeah. So thank you for joining us here on Disney Movie Investigation. I would love to hear your guys' comment. What do you think of Thumbelina? I know I got some comments on our Facebook page about how they love this movie as a child, but it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. So in terms of our next episode, we're going to continue on our journey through the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies as we take a look at part 2 with Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.